Hey there, Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here. Welcome to day 345 of our Be a Better You Annual Challenge. I'm going to adjust this camera just a bit. Today we are beginning and launching into our SOAP framework. The SOAP framework is a framework I came up with in 2020, beginning of the year 2020, because like everybody else, my businesses were shut down. Everything was blown up. We were stuck and kind of trapped in our homes, at least for what we thought was going to be a 2-week period. And I'm like, well, how can I make the most of this 2-week period if I'm not allowed to go anywhere? So I started looking at what I've been doing, what I wanted to do moving forward. And I came up with, I asked myself, how do I deal with challenges and setbacks and obstacles and roadblocks and things that are outside of my control but are having an impact on me? How am I going to deal with those? And I looked at what I've done in the past that was successful, and I figured out the 4 steps. And then, of course, I creatively came up with an acronym to represent that framework. And that became the SOAP framework. Covered it in my annual challenges at least once a month for the last 5 years since 2020. It was every other month as part of the annual challenge. Or it wasn't an annual challenge back then. I only did 30-day challenges. So every other month I did a 30-plus day challenge. And for 2020 as well as 2021, because it kept me going and moving forward. So that's part of where the annual challenge came from. But I want to let you know, in case you have not noticed, I am weaving in 3 of the most important frameworks during the course of this month. One, of course, is the life framework, the 9 areas that we can use to actually create a framework that makes sense for our life in each of the different areas and aspects of our life. And we can achieve actually probably 10 times more in our life in a given year by using this framework than when we don't. And I'm going to say at least 10 times more progress in all these different areas and aspects of our life by actually consciously choosing our targets, what it is that we're going for. We're going to do that this month for 2026 as part of this training. So I'm weaving that in. We're covering the SOAP framework. And the last few days at the end of the month, we will cover the Ideance framework one more time too. Why? Because I want you to get exposed to it at least 12 times. Because I think 12 times is plenty, practicing and applying it and using it in your life to install it in our subconscious and create a new tool in our toolbox, so to speak, so that we have got the things that we need to create the lives that we want continuously, but especially in 2026, the end of this year and in 2026. So today we have already picked, I hope you've picked, I think I mentioned it yesterday. I'm hoping I mentioned it yesterday. I don't remember, and I haven't gone back to watch the video, that we were going to pick an area that we wanted to soap up. I call it soaping up, which was perfectly appropriate for the pandemic because all we did was wash our hands and sanitize our packages as they came from the store. And I think about the stuff that we did during the pandemic. I look back now and I just laugh because it was ridiculously ludicrous, in my humble opinion. But I really never got COVID during the pandemic. Once it was identified as a pandemic, I definitely had it in December of 2019. I'd been on a cruise and I'd been around, and even though the pandemic and the COVID-19 supposedly wasn't in the United States yet, according to all the media outlets, which is complete and utter BS, by the way, I had it, and I could have gotten it on the cruise ship, but I was sicker than a dog in December, even though it wasn't a thing yet. And so when the day before my birthday, everything shut down, and travel was canceled and things, I was up at the cabin with my sisters for a long weekend and to celebrate my birthday. And we all ran to Sam's Club and bought toilet paper, which is hilarious, right? There's so many things if I look back and think about it. But really good things came out of the pandemic too, right? Not to the millions of people that lost their businesses and their livelihoods, but for anybody that was willing to learn and grow and use that time wisely to better their lives or their environment, it was positive, I think. It's kind of like my sudden cardiac arrest. Most people would look at that and say, oh my God, that was the end of your life. And I'm like, still here, so obviously not. All right, so today we're talking about the first step in the process. I didn't grab my graphic yet. Let's see if I can find it quickly. And I can, because I make these handy dandy written backwards graphics, and I love to share them because I know how hard it is for me to write in the right direction, much less write backwards. But I think it's almost a skill set that I've acquired now, is I can write backwards. I can also write with my toes. I shared that yesterday in a community that I'm in because somebody showed a gif of me, not of me, but of somebody writing with their, or doing a calculator with their feet. And I'm like, well, I can't calculate with my feet, but I can definitely right with my feet. It's one of those things my dad taught us girls when we were little, just for the fun of it. It was probably a rainy, snowy day or something, and he wanted to keep control of all four of us, so he taught us to write with our toes. I don't know if my sisters can still do it. I should ask them. I don't do it very often. It's kind of like a party trick, right? It's one of those weird things that you can do that can entertain people and make them laugh, because most people don't do that, right? So S for SOAP framework stands for story or situation. So we pick the area that we want to. It's either a challenge area or it's something that we really, really want to change or improve. And I say by the end of this year, not next year, but so that we go into the new year already with this thing fixed or well on the way to being fixed and not an issue anymore. So current story and desired story we're going to look at today. And we do that, why? Same reason we do it in 2 steps in the ideas process. If we know where we are, and actually if we don't know where we are, it just adds to confusion. And until we get clear on what it is that we're working on and doing, nothing happens, right? Or little bitty things happen, but progress doesn't necessarily last. So we're going to identify what is my current story. Now, I wasn't going to use financial, but I am going to, because I'm in a 6-month challenge in what's called the Powerful Manifestor Mastermind. If you are looking for a community that can shift everything in your life really, really fast, I highly recommend that you ask me for the link to that, because it's incredible. And right now it's only $33 a month to get involved in that. If you do it, I think by Friday. And then the price is going up to $479 a month for participation in this 10K 6-month challenge, which I decided I would hop on, create my own community, and my goal is to get that to 10K monthly recurring revenue before June 1st of 2026. And that's just a little side project that I'm demonstrating and using. And I may very well use it in my community to document my journey and share every step of the way of that with the people in my Supersize Your Business school community. Yes, I do have a school community. If you would like to join that, I want about 15 more founding members. And that'll cap us at 50 founding members who I will admit right now are not very active, because I have not been very active. I've been going around, understanding, learning the platform so I can share it with people that join and it doesn't become a challenge, as well as learning what best practices are and how to do it and how do you build a real community. Because I will tell you, I have built communities or groups or pages on Facebook to tens of thousands of participants, but crickets in terms of engagement and actually being a community, how I would define a community. A community is engaged people helping one another to create the businesses that they want. And I, come hell or high water, I'm going to figure out how to do that on the school platform, because that simplifies my life incredibly dramatically. And that's what I'm about. As I get older, I want to make the world a better place. I want to have a huge impact, but I also want to make sure that it fits within the realm of my desires and what I want, right? I've built lots of businesses the way they should be done, and they were super successful, but it didn't leave me any time and energy and life left to create the life that I wanted. So what is your current story? What is your desired story? That is our assignment today. I'm picking this 10K 6-month mastermind challenge, and I guess I'm more the strategic person when it comes to things like that, and when it comes to growing and building and supersizing a business. And my friend Victoria Gallagher is all about hypnosis, mindset, meditation, changing processes in your thinking and beliefs that are negatively impacting you, that you're not even necessarily aware of. And these are things I talk about too, but she is definitely the expert in that. And I'm the expert in the strategy stuff. All right, so that's what we're going to do today. And again, I've not done mine yet, but write it down. Write down, what is your current story? What is your desired story? Just a paragraph. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. It's just a tool that you can use to move forward in the SOAP framework process over the next 4 days total. Any questions about this? We've gone through it. If you've been with me this year, we've gone through it at least 11 times, but we're going to do it again. And if we need to do it another 20 times before it becomes automatic for you, I am committed to making sure that happens. All right. Questions? Ask. Otherwise, have an awesome day, and I will, of course, be with you tomorrow. Bye. We're going to do tomorrow.